Hey, welcome to the show, Leading and Growing Your Real Estate Business. This is Coach James Short, aka Shorty. And this is a show for those within the real estate industry wanting to lead and grow their real estate business. It's a series of interviews that we conduct for those within the industry. So we're finding out what those leaders are within the industry, what makes them tick, what's their story, what are their strategies, and how to become the leaders and the growers within the industry. But also, it's an interview series with those outside of the industry. I'm always a big believer of looking at a whole different part of the pie rather than just focusing on one part of the pie. Because what it does, it allows you to have a different perspective, allows you to get snippets or golden nuggets from those outside of the industry that can look into the industry and go, there's a different perspective. And so I encourage you to reach out to the guests. I encourage you to lean into these series to find out how can these pieces of information, experiences, stories help you lead and grow your real estate business. And before we get underway with our latest episode, just a little shout out to these amazing crew at Magic Mind. Magic Mind has been it's a productivity hit in the bottle. I've been using these supplementations now for a number of weeks, and the clarity, the focus, and the performance that I've been getting from these nutrients in a bottle. They've got amazing vitamins, amazing minerals. They've got a bunch of mushrooms in there as well. It's a great productivity hack that I've been using every single day. So if you want to try it out, head on over to www.magicmind.com/James Short, and you'll be able to get amazing discounts when you subscribe and when you try the product. And at the checkout, simply add in James Short 20 to get your discount. So head on over, Magic Mind, productivity in a bottle. Oh, I love it. Now on with the show. And we are super proud, acknowledged. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, drop the mic. Chris Melotti from Melotti Content Media. Oh, he's a hyper enthusiastic marketing consultant, brand copywriter, and business communication specialist known for his on-the-spot knowledge, humorous charm, and engaging presentation style. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. As the founder of Australia's only message marketing agency, Melotti Media and his team collaborate with a wide range of clients from governments and international firms to medium-sized companies of all industries, all to enrich their communication style, develop customized brand messaging, and solve content challenges and unpromising service. Amazing. Chris's goal is to not just to consult, but to demonstrate the potential that messaging strategy and brand marketing offer businesses. Everything Melotti Media does is about evolving marketing practice by making brands relevant to customers. Multi-award winning and highly sought after presenter, Chris's passion is infectious, which you're about to feel and see, and his insights are practical. Mate, it's an honor and a privilege to have you on the show today.
Thank you,
Chris,
James. Wow, an entrance. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate it, and it's an honor to be here too. I always enjoy being guest to amazing podcasts, and so yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
thank you. Thank you. Marketing. Why marketing? Because your energy, your knowledge, just how you see situations and you unpack problems and you solve problems. Why
Mm.
marketing? What intrigued you to go down that pathway?
Oh wow, that's a real throwback. So I when I studied business studies back in school in Sydney, I instantly took to marketing, and it was because I'm a creative person and an innovative thinker, and so when I saw that marketing chapter in that studies, I immediately loved it because you know what it is, it's problem solving. There's no rule book. Like as much as you study marketing and you see all the 101s and you look up all the theory, it doesn't matter. When you're presented with a challenge, you have to solve it, and there's no rule book. And this is what I see every single day as a marketing consultant: is people will go, "Here's my problem, solve this," and it's not like you can go, "Oh, I'll just get out my textbook and find the step by step." It doesn't work like that. And so marketing has allowed me to find my full potential. And then I studied it in university, and I loved it the whole way through as well. And then I've done a few more degrees and bits and pieces after that. And then I worked in business, and then in marketing departments, and then I eventually started my own business back in 2017, and I built a marketing agency and a couple of businesses in marketing.
Fantastic. And it's so amazing because I think looking at that aspect where you can see almost like a helicopter view, it's like, okay, well, let's look at the layout of the land, what's happening, where things are at, what's the challenges,
Yes.
and then that's where your creative piece really kicks in to go, oh, and that's the inquisitive and the curiosity to really unpack those solutions. I love it. I love it. What are you
Yeah.
noticing right now? What are you noticing as some of the trends out there for businesses
Yeah.
that some of their pain points that they're facing?
Yeah. Oh, look, there's heaps. There's always business challenges, and but there's always solutions too. I mean, look, let's get this done. It's the AI thing, right? We're
Yep.
we're inundated and almost exhausted by it
I can
all.
imagine.
And it's everywhere. Like yesterday, I was presenting in Queensland, and that was exactly what it was. It was on like how to absorb AI into your system without losing your authenticity. And so that's what I'm seeing a lot of now is brands are getting overwhelmed by the AI phenomenon, and they're getting excited but also cautious. And so and I'm always of the point is don't adopt for adopt's sake. Right. It's
Yes.
like finding a way to bring it into your business to augment your team, not replace them, and augment your message, not replace it. And so like and that's a big I'm a big advocate of that is making sure that you're seeing your team lead it, not it lead you.
Ooh, I
So
like
that's
that.
that's that's what I'm doing at the moment is like helping brands adopt it in an ethically responsible way, because you don't, like, for example, it's just because you can spam everyone with automation doesn't mean you should, right? It absolutely doesn't mean you should. And so what it is there's that's going on. Another phenomenon that I'm seeing quite paradoxically is the need for personalization, and
Mm,
AI is not quite getting there. So I'm seeing that as we drift more and more to the digital automation AI space, um, humans are starting to push back and saying, don't treat me like a number.
yep.
Don't send me your that same email that I've read 17 times by other competitors who have used the same platform of AI as you. So I'm
Yep.
seeing a lot of that, like connection, like people, humans and customers yearning for connection. And that's why in-person marketing is becoming huge right now. Is people are starting to go, I want to meet you. I don't want thousands of followers. I want one that cares. I'm
Oof.
seeing that. I'm
Yep.
also seeing economic pinch right now, economic pinch. But you know what the weird thing is all stats and figures. I was at a presentation the other day, and all stats and figures are showing that businesses are not cutting their marketing anymore, which is
Really?
which is interesting. It always has been where it's like, oh, things are getting tight, pull back the marketing. But I think
Yep.
COVID has taught us that when things are hard, it's time to be loud.
Yes.
And so I'm seeing that as well. So they're like my top things that I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, fantastic. So I want to touch on that piece around that connection. And I
Yeah.
think looking at that, I mean, we had so much disconnection, as you mentioned, through COVID, and
Yep.
now people are wanting that connection, but it's about getting the right message for that connection.
Oh, definitely.
So talk to me about that whole messaging piece
Oh, yeah.
around where people are, I guess, falling short and what people can do around really having that connection piece to really develop that side of their messaging.
Yeah. Great question, James. Look, this is if anyone takes one thing away today, it's this. It's the world is noisy, right?
Mm,
And there's a lot of distraction and a lot of clutter. And the way to cut through that is to have clarity and consistency with what you do, right? Absolutely must, right? And so, what that great was a great question because I am trying to urge, and this is one of the main services I do with my agency and as a consultant, is it's the brand core messaging development
yep.
is so essential for businesses today. And this is not an AI thing, right? This is a getting your team together and and defining your narrative, crystallizing your story. Because this is the thing is today your brand cannot afford to be fragmented.
Yep.
And unfortunately, a lot of businesses are in this space. And because you can't, someone said to me, you can't read the lid of your own jar, right? So, like, isn't that funny, right? So, like,
Totally.
you as a business, you're living and breathing your business. You have lost the perspective that your customers have about yours, which is that they don't see you every day. You know, you work in your business every day. They don't. They see
Yeah.
you once every 10 days max, 5% of their lives. And so every time they hit a touch point across everything you do, if there's no consistency, there's no you. And this is what I'm seeing today is brands are asking more and more, can you come in? Like I'm going to Melbourne on next week, and I'm doing this with a brand where they've been around for 20 years, and they've said, we used to know ourselves. Now it's kind of become this organic growth and we've lost control of it. And so we have salespeople who are winging it. We have customer service people who are winging it. We've got our marketing who's guessing it. And so as a result, our customers are seeing like we're like 15 heads. And
Yeah.
so what they have asked me to do is come in and get everyone to speak together and collaborate, and then help me put together a brand messaging document that's like their brand guidelines. And it's like, then we give it to all the sales stuff, the marketing stuff, the customer service stuff, all new hires. Everyone has this. So we're all singing off the same hymn sheet. And it's exciting because this is a way to get back to authenticity, to messaging and connection.
Ah, I love that because I think it's so, so important. So often you hear business owners they just get into the grind and the day to day, the day to day,
Yes.
rather than actually what I call it the goalpost and the trench analogy. It's like get yourself
Nice.
out of the trenches, get yourself out. What are the goalposts? And then you can get back into the trenches, which is the
Mm.
consistency of the messaging and so forth and so forth. And so when we look at that, that's so important, particularly as you've mentioned that example of people grow and it's just like, yeah, but who are we? And it's coming back to that brand strategy, brand alignment, which is
Mm.
so important. And I love that clarity and that consistency.
Because if you don't have it, how do you expect? This is the thing I always say to clients is how do you expect for your customers to interpret you if you can't define you?
Oh,
Right. And
so
do you know this
true.
is what like it's if you can't tell me what your brand does, how do this poor customer that interacts with you every so often, how do you expect them to know? And all the big brands, we see it every day, and I think we take it for granted. If I say Apple, Mercedes-Benz, even Kia, Aldi, all of
Yep.
those brands that you know, and I know they're big brands, right? And people are thinking, oh my gosh, that's got millions of budget. But the point is, they have spent time investing in what their brand is and what it sounds like and what they are. And even small businesses, startups should invest that time to really get that down so that there's no mistaking it in your market. It's much harder
Yep.
to go when your brand changes every day. How do you expect people to remember it?
So true. So true. And so where do you see besides like you mentioned the whole AI, but besides that, where do you see the future of marketing, messaging,
Mm-hmm.
that connection piece? Where do you see that coming? Hey guys, just a little side note here. How's it going? Are you on track this year? I know that sometimes this part of the year we can feel like we're in a bit of a grind, a bit of in the trenches. Are you on track from the original plans that you set out for the rest of this year? What I've realized is that between with this time of year, we get so distracted and we've got trying to chase so many shiny balls and go down so many rabbit holes. And that's why I created a program called the 90. It's a framework that actually allows you to achieve more in 90 days than ever before. Some of the feedback that we've got from some of the people that have used the process, the 90, is that they've achieved more in 90 days than the whole previous year. So if you'd like to have the tools, have the techniques, have the framework on the 90, so you and your team can achieve more in 90 days than ever before. What it does, it impacts you of how to get clear, what you need to do, and who you need to be to show up in order to achieve the things you want to achieve over the next 90 days. Simply head over to jamesshort.com.au, click on join the waitlist, fill in your details, and one of the team members will be in touch and take you through the 90 framework. On with the show.
Yeah, look, I honestly think that with the AI piece, we're going to have a bit of a weird space where we're going to go through a compliance phase. So, like right now, we're in an adoption phase. We're like, it's new, it's a shiny thing, and so we're all like, anything we can get, just get it on. Like, and then you're seeing products and services respond that way. Like you're seeing HubSpot go, we now have an AI tool. You're seeing Adobe say we have a new AI tool, Facebook, a new AI tool. Like they're all building AI tools on top of it. And so it's this trend right now. But I think what's going to happen is as we start to adopt it, which is a good thing, right? I'm not against AI. I think it's a good thing if we do it responsibly. But I think what we're going to hit is brands are going to get subscription creep and go, wow, I've got all these AI platforms and I'm not even sure what they do. We're going to get teams that are getting nervous. We're also going to get people that are going, I can use this to do my job and not tell my boss. And then we're going to see what happens is brands, like businesses are going to go, oh my gosh, my team are producing stuff that isn't theirs. They're not checking it. We don't have any checks and balances. So what's that? So like one of my businesses is called a Melotti AI. And that's what we're doing is we're doing a lot of that advisory of checks and balances and regulatory, checking so that we can implement it. But that's what I think we'll go through is a phase of that. And then people will start to go, I miss the authentic. I miss the consistent. I miss the in-person. And people will start to revolt against the whole like automation piece. And that's normal, right? Like when you go through a new phase, it's like everything changes and then we find that reset. And I think that's what's coming. And people will get back to the basics of, I'd love to, I know it sounds corny, but I'd love to receive a letter. Right?
Yeah,
You
totally.
know, I'd love to go to an event and get something to take away. I instead of getting thousands of emails that land in my spam, I'd love to talk to someone on a phone or grab a coffee. And it's yes, it's not that scalable, sexy, AI thing that we're all seeing. But I think if we take our business hats off for a second and put our customer hat back on,
Yeah.
as customers, do you want to be treated like that, James? Like, as in, if you buy a car, do you want them to go, hi, name, because
Yeah.
they haven't repopulated your, and said, oh, your car is in for service, like, make sure you come, rather than saying like, oh, how's the service been, and all those kind of things.
Yep.
I think it's
So true.
important that.
So true. You've mentioned a couple of times authenticity.
Mm.
Now, I see so many, particularly in the real estate space,
Uh-oh.
real
Yep.
estate, yeah, right? Real estate agents wanting to be, oh, I just want to be like so and so. I just want to be like so and so, and they've just had ARIC, which is 5,000 real estate agents up on the
Love that.
Gold Coast, right?
Great,
Which
great.
is amazing, and they've had some great speakers. However, what I see in particular is people wanting to be other people,
Oh, yeah. Yep, yep, yep.
right? So talk to me about authenticity and what people should do to actually have some realization around stepping into that for themselves.
James, these are great questions. These are like excellent because I think people learn a lot from this. Okay, so can I start by saying there's nothing wrong with being inspired by other people. There's
Correct.
nothing wrong, right?
Yep.
But the difference is take aspects of what you like about them and interpret them in your perspective. So what I mean by that is if you like the fact that they dress in a particular way, be inspired by their consistency in dressing a particular way, but find your own style. And the reason why I say this is because first and foremost, being a Me Too brand, right?
Yep.
And I don't mean that movement. I mean that when as
It's hard.
marketers, we say
Yes.
Me Too as in replicated, right?
Yes.
So being that replication always means you're going to be second, right? Because there's always someone doing it there already. So finding your own angle or gives you're inspired by what they do, but in reinterpreting it as yourself is how you can really drive that connection. So that would be my first point is find your own way. But then what happens is you're competing in your own blue ocean rather than
Mm.
replicating them where they've already started because you don't want to be called, oh, that you're that person, oh, you're a mini that person. There's nothing that will dampen your marketing and your branding and your self-confidence more than being saying, oh, you're the next Gary V, and
Yep.
so what I suggest is first and foremost is be inspired but find your own angle, and second is don't be ashamed of that angle, right? Because you'll be surprised how your authenticity, the reason why authenticity works is because it doesn't take much effort. That's what
Yes.
it is, right? When you are authentic in the way that you do things, you don't have to try. It's you. Okay. And so even though of course, you've got your business persona and, you're not going to be, your home self, but you don't like, for me, I don't have to try to be a different person when I'm speaking to you, James, today, right?
Yep.
Because this is just genuinely me. And
Yep.
so it makes it easy. And therefore, my character traits and the way I communicate and what I talk about across all my channels, they go, oh, that is Christopher Melotti. They know who I am from the way I am. And so that I hope that that's sort of come across. The other thing I would suggest is, like, back to your question, is take the time to build that brand of yours. So if you are going, I want to be a personal brand, what does that sound like? What does that mean, right? So ask yourself questions like, what's my vision and mission, right? I know, cliche, but it is, right? Where do I see myself in 10 years? What do I want to be known as or for? Where am I headed? What's going to get me there? What elements of physicality like around me, like as my background is one, right? Like,
Yep.
what do I need to have? That car, those tools, that device. What is it that I need to do to tell my story in an effective way? I've done this with my team, and we've come up with pillars like, what's our tribe? What's our story? Where are we? What is it that defines us? What do we like to see in a client? And things like this, if you take the time, I know it's hard because I know some people struggle with this. They go, oh my God, what am I going to say? But if you take the time to answer a lot of those questions and you go, this is my brand, suddenly that clarity allows you to be much more like, champion yourself when you do that. Did that answer your question, James?
1,000%. And this is what
Yeah.
I love what you guys do is to help clients get that out of their head through the
Yes.
questions and the process that you ask them through your brand strategy process.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you ask this yourself the question, you get, but if you have someone probing and asking better
Catalyst.
quality questions, you
Yeah.
can actually do that. And so what you actually get is that brand framework to work like with your goals, right? Okay, so when you're walking in your, what's the messaging and marketing around this or that content or this piece? You're
Yeah.
always coming back to that brand framework, and that's the authentic you. That's who you are. That's what you're messaging. And that's, as you said, it makes it easy because it's all about you.
And you can do this as a personal brand or a business. So I just want to assure people that people listening that go, oh, you can find your personal brand just as you can find your business brand. And taking that time to define it and act it is only going to lead to success.
Yeah, totally, totally. Chris, on the show, we have a 60-second quiz to find out a little bit more about our guests. Are you willing to play?
I'm willing, ready.
Okay, cool. Uh, Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I would say the Sherlock Holmes Game of Shadows with
Fantastic.
Robert Downey Jr. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Favorite food?
Favorite food? Oh, that's a tricky one. I don't really have one, I would say. Oh, no, I would say the laksa. Laksa is my
Ooh,
favorite.
nice.
Love a Vietnamese soup and a curry-based soup.
Fantastic. Favorite holiday destination?
Cool. I'm going to Italy next month. I know it's cliche, but I'd say that, or probably maybe Queenstown, New Zealand.
Beautiful. Do you have a morning routine?
Yes, I wake up and I have a coffee, and then I take the dogs. I have 3 dogs. I take them for a walk before I start anything, and it allows me to get out in nature and clear my head.
Nice. And do you have an evening routine?
Evening routine, yes, gym. So I go to the gym for circuit training, and it just releases all the tension and gives me energy for the night.
Nice. And if you could choose five inspirational people to have dinner with, they could be dead or alive, who would they be?
Oh my gosh, that's a oh. I I've never really thought about it before. Isn't that weird? That one you've caught me on. I don't know.
Okay.
I have to really think about that one. That's a tricky one. I'm sorry, I don't have an answer.
That's all right. No, totally fine.
You know why I don't have an answer? It's because I love meeting new people.
Yep.
And so it's not like I sit there and go, oh, I'm idolizing that person. For me, I find everyone fascinating. And so as I meet new people in certain events and things, they are interesting to me.
Fantastic. I love it. I love it. Do you have a most embarrassing moment?
Oh, I would probably say because I meet so many people, sometimes I remember them, but sometimes I mix up their names, and that I hate when I do that because like I met them several times, and it flies out of my head, and that's
Yep.
definitely my most embarrassing time. Yes, I
Okay, cool.
hate that.
If you were prime minister for the day, what's one thing that you would change?
Ooh, I would say I've thought about this many times. Prime Minister for the day. What would I change? I would, oh, this, I don't want to say there's so much I would change. You know what? I would probably remove the ability to lobby. And instead, what I would do is like take the time to evaluate what Australia actually needs rather than listening to all these voices in my head.
Yeah, so good. So good. And what's your best piece of advice
My best piece of advice for business or just in general?
in general?
Seek people to learn from. And it doesn't matter where you're up to in your career or personal, it just, there are so many interesting people out there and you can't just sit in a bubble.
Yep, love it. Fantastic. And what's coming up for you? What's some projects, what's some exciting things that you've got on the horizon?
Yeah, I would say that it's building out those businesses. So I've got Melotti AI, which is that really exciting project around writing policies and governance procedures for AI adoption in businesses. That's a really exciting thing. A lot of my Christopher Melotti consulting projects, they are really going well because a lot of brands are looking for me to run workshops with them and really help them build out their confidence around their branding. I'm working with, I mean, a lot of the exciting things around the government is always good. I love working with the government because they are very open to things. But then there's a lot of exciting startups and projects that are coming up as well. So even working with likes of News Corp and helping them rebrand. So all of that kind of stuff is my exciting projects that are coming up.
Fantastic. And how can the audience reach out, follow the journey, or get in contact with you?
Yeah, look, follow me on LinkedIn. I'm Christopher Melotti on LinkedIn, and you can see the orange abundance everywhere. You can also melottimedia.com.au or christophermelotti.com.au will help get you there. And I'd love to chat. Please reach out. I love meeting people, as I said.
Fantastic. Chris, really appreciate your time, energy, and your expertise today. Thank you
Thank you,
so much for
James.
joining us on the show.
Thank you so much.